G'day everyone, so today's video is about the dark night of the soul or ascension symptoms, and I wanted to share this because back when I was going through the dark night of the soul and experiencing these ascension symptoms, it was actually an extremely difficult and hard time for me. And the one thing that actually gave me hope was seeing other people's videos about going through the same thing. However, a lot of these videos were going through things that were kind of different to me. And so if I can share my exact account of what happened and the value that I gained from these experiences, it can help people going through something that's really similar to what I went through. And so I'll start off with the story. I was just leaving high school and I had gone through the start of my spiritual awakening, listening to Alan Watts, Terence McKenna, Ram Dass, all these different people. I would just stay up at night and listen to the wisdom and download it into my system, and it all started making sense to me, and I started realizing the truth about the world, and looking back realizing that everything in my life had happened for a reason, and that now it was kind of all coming together. And then so as I left school, I was confronted by the real world, as they say, and I found myself in this terrible state where I was just in a constant state of anxiety, and it really felt like I couldn't listen to certain types of music, like with violence or hard style lyrics. I started listening to things like Bob Marley and John Lennon and all these more peaceful type music. And I couldn't watch, movies with violence and killing and all these things. It was just too much. Like, I would watch these things and I would begin to spiral into a panic attack. Like, it was that bad. The energy was too strong. And so I found myself, really sensitive to energy. And, someone would say something negative, or even a video on YouTube was negative, it was enough to begin a negative spiral. And so, along with these feelings of anxiety, I actually thought that I was physically dying. Like, I would get these heart palpitations that actually really, they felt painful. And I think the main reason for that was because I was resisting and in a state of fear, thinking that I was literally dying. And so, my heart would palpitate and it would hurt. It would feel like someone stabbing me. And I got these chest pains as well. And it was actually, I figured out it was inflammation of the chest cartilage that felt like stabbing pains. So I literally thought I was dying. And so I went to see doctors and, got medical opinions, and they couldn't find anything wrong with me. And so that sort of helped me a little bit to know that I wasn't dying, but still, the fear remained. And it wasn't until that I realized that this was happening so that I could feel the fear fully and face it head on. And I was actually confronting my fear of death. I was releasing all these negative things that had happened to me. I was releasing toxic food and habits that I'd been eating at the time and before then. And I was just releasing all sort of negative aspects from my past identity. So in a way, I was actually dying, but it was my old identity. It was like an ego death. And so, the ego must die, or the old identity must die, so that the new one can come through. And so one of my most valuable lessons is the lesson of faith, and knowing that, you're divinely protected, that you have a spirit team who's looking after you, and that everything is happening for a reason. And that now, the real blessing is now that those events have taught me how to actually feel into the body, how resisting feeling into the body can cause physical pain and can, make the healing process drag out almost into infinity. And now it's also allowed me to share those experiences with you and other people in my life, so that when they go through the same thing, or when they just need to when they just need to know how to feel into the body or heal a certain emotion, I can actually help them with that. And so later on in my journey, I ended up booking in my first Reiki treatment for myself. It was the first sense of relief I felt in about 8 months. And so I walk out of that room after the treatment, and you know, I'm feeling a bit of a weight lift off my shoulders, and I feel like I can actually breathe again. And I say, this is amazing. Like, what happened in there? I was barely touched, and I walk out feeling so much better. And so I ended up learning how to do Reiki, and then over the next year, I got to level 3 in Reiki, and through that whole time, I was using the techniques on myself to heal and feel into these, energy centers. And one important thing to note was that I wasn't just getting heart palpitations. I was feeling these palpitations in all different blood vessels, down to the stomach, the solar plexus, and I realized that these were actually my chakras. And Reiki taught me that the chakras were spinning abnormally, and that was manifesting physically by feeling palpitations and weird pains and feelings. But they start to spin in a, like this, like an X almost. They spin like that instead of just going normally. And that means that the shift is happening, and that can, make you feel all sorts of things. So I want you to know, if you're going through something similar, of course, see a doctor and find out for sure that nothing is physically wrong with you. But after you find that out, know and have faith that everything is working out for the best, that this time will pass, and it's going to bring on, a newer, much more expansive version of you, a truer version of yourself. And now you're going to be equipped to actually, face these fears in the future. And you're going to be strong enough, because next time it comes along, it's going to be smaller, but you're going to be so much stronger, and you're going to know what it's all about. So I hope this one helped. If anyone needs support or a chat, I'll leave my Instagram down in the description. So message anytime, and I'm always keen to help. So subscribe if this is your first time seeing me. You may never see me again. So if you want to see me again, just hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.